Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. If you are new around here, my name is Nicole, and today let's talk about cookies. Now, it's been known that I have been doing keto-esque, keto-adjacent, low-calorie, something like that. And my husband's favorite, all-time favorite candy this time of year, because this is the Lent season, is Cadbury Mini Eggs. Now, I'm going to tell you that for 9 pieces, you get 23 grams of carbohydrates, and there is nothing to deduct out of that. Because if you're doing keto, you can deduct out sugar, alcohols, and you can deduct out fiber. 0 fiber, and it's all sugar. So, yes, he and I are trying to get healthy and trying to lose weight, but sometimes there's give and take. Let's step back. A few weeks ago, I ran across a recipe on 2 peas in our pods, I believe it is, for Cadbury Mini Egg chocolate chip cookies. And I thought, oh no, my husband really is gonna want those. And he does. The same set of cookies, 2 ways. So this is Victoria's Keto Kitchen flour recipe. You're supposed to be able to use it in a 1-to-1 ratio, her flour versus AP flour. So that's what I did. Baking soda and baking powder, neither one have carbs. So that wasn't anything I had to worry about substituting. Salt, again, does not either. So we went ahead and we added the salt. And then you want to mix this up really well. Now we're going to move on to the wet ingredients. The first thing it called for was a cup of butter. I left my butter sitting on my fireplace because this was done in April, and it melted it just a little bit too far, but I had just pulled it out of the refrigerator. I substituted my keto sugars for regular sugar. They're supposed to be a 1-to-1 substitution as well, and they worked pretty well. I packed in the brown sugar like you would normal brown sugar, so if it holds its shape, you know that you've got enough. And then go ahead and cream those together. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put our eggs in. Yes, I live life on the wild side, and I decided to go ahead and crack them right into the bowl. And as you can see, we dropped the whole shell in there, whatever. I got it out because it was a very big piece. Add your vanilla, and then go ahead and cream those together as well. Remember in this process to go ahead and scrape down the sides of the bowl as necessary. That way it helps it all get incorporated, and just do it as you need to. The recipe said to put the Cadbury Mini Eggs in a Ziploc bag and use a rolling pin to crush them up. That way you get different size pieces. Looking back, that's probably what I should have done, but I did use my Ninja here. It did okay, and it did give me different sizes, but it also gave me very powdery sizes too. Then we put the unsweetened coconut onto a baking sheet in a 250 to 300 degree oven. Watch it carefully, and go ahead and toast up your coconut. It gives it more flavor. If you're not paying total attention, you will burn it, so keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, back at our wet ingredients, let's go ahead and add the flour mixture in. Be sure not to overmix it, and do keep in mind that coconut flour, which is incorporated into the Victoria's flour, does make things a little more dry, so sometimes you have to offset with a little more liquid, and that might be why my cookies came out just a little drier than the original, but I'll let you wait till the end until you see how they are different. Next, we're going to add in our chocolate chips, and these are keto chocolate chips. Yes, they add in a few carbs, but they're still better for you than regular. We're also going to add in those mini Cadbury eggs, and then we're going to use a spoon or a spatula and stir them together. Oh yeah, don't forget the coconut. I almost did. I noticed this mixture was a little bit hard to incorporate with my spatula, so I just put my hands to work. My hands were clean and mixed it up that way. Later, you'll see that I used a spoon, but either way, I needed something a little more sturdy. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to line our baking sheet with parchment paper. Now, these cookies were a little more on the dry side, so I scooped the mixture out into my hand and then used my hand to form them into a ball. This is where I learned that you want to then smash them down a little bit because they will not spread like a normal cookie will. They will stay in that ball shape and they will not fully cook in the time allotted, but they will burn if you're not careful. So just keep that in mind. So my daughters aren't doing keto. One's too young and the other one is just, she's not. So anyway, I made regular cookies. You measure your flour, just like you would normally measure flour. Go ahead and add your baking soda and your baking powder. Add your salt. Use a spatula, or not a spatula, but a whisk. Whisk it together. Everything is the same. It's just you get slightly different results, as you shall see further on in this recipe. Now it's time to add your sugars. Remember, brown sugar packs into a measuring cup, and if it holds its shape when it falls, you know you've got it pretty well. Then you add your white sugar and your butter. At this point, I had butter all over my pellet stove because it got a little on the melted side, so I had to clean that up. That was fun, but that's a good way to bring it to room temperature fairly quickly if it's winter time. So we're just creaming our butter and sugar here together just like you would in any normal recipe for cookies. And then we're going to add our 2 eggs and our vanilla and mix it up again. Then we're going to come in and we're going to add in our flour mixture. Remember, mix it together, but do not over mix it, so just keep an eye on it. And then we're going to remove it from the mixer. And we are going to add in our chocolate chips. We're going to add in the mini Cadbury eggs that we have ground up and the coconut. Don't forget the toasted coconut. And also, you better keep an eye on your chocolate chips or some random hand might come in and take it. We just happened to catch it on video. The thief caught red-handed. Anyway, you want a very substantial, sturdy spoon to mix this up because it is a very stiff mixture. Then get your cookie sheet out, line it with parchment paper. Go ahead and make your cookie balls. This is the regular recipe, so they will spread as they bake, not overly spread. They're not going to stay in that ball shape. Go ahead, stick them in the oven and eat them.
So I got to thinking about it, and if I did, it calls for flour. If we take the flour down to a keto flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, none of that has carbs. Butter has such a small amount that they don't even consider it having it, so you can count it in if you want. The sugar, you have light brown sugar at 1.5 cups, and you have granulated sugar or white sugar at 1/2 cup. Okay, that's gonna be a killer right there. But I used the replacement sugar. I think I used allulose and Truvia for those two, which are your substitute sugars, right? Okay, so I cut down on carbs there. Eggs don't have any, vanilla doesn't have any. The Cadbury Mini Eggs, they do. 9 pieces. And when I weighed it out, it came this, let's see, we needed 1.5 cups of the Cadbury Mini Eggs, which came out roughly to about 238 grams. And 9 pieces is 32 grams. And you're just going, oh my goodness. I got you. That's not all in one cookie. That is spread out. So, then you have chocolate chips, which we used keto approved chocolate chips, and toasted coconut flour. Unsweetened coconut flour is pretty low in carbs. And again, it's all spread out. I wound up with 41. I know this is not like pretty. I made these yesterday. I was tired and I didn't get this filmed yesterday. So I wound up with 41 keto cookies. When I took all my numbers, divided them out to 41, we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 grams per cookie, which still could be pretty significant if you are very low numbered in your keto. But I'm telling you, this is one time a year. You can make exceptions if you want. The Cadbury Mini Eggs have real sugar in them, so you have to take that into account, and it potentially could kick you out of ketosis if you're not careful. I figured one time a year we're gonna go for it. Now, my daughters, they are not doing, so I made the real thing also. This used regular all-purpose flour, this used regular sugar, regular brown sugar. This is loaded in carbs. I did not calculate it up because I didn't want to know. But I'm going to tell you, these are really good. They would be better if I would have done this last night. Okay, let's pull one of these out. So here we go. This one on my left is the keto. One on the right is the regular. I used Victoria's Standard Keto flour, and I was very, very much impressed with the way it worked. Hopefully I'm in the shot because I can't see. A couple of things that I noticed. So the keto cookies did not spread. When you're baking a cookie with regular flour and everything, when they bake, they expand. So you put a ball in and it expands out to, it didn't work with this one. So what I did was I made the ball and then I flattened it out. The first batch that I cooked didn't fully get baked because they were left as balls. And my husband said he tried one and it was pretty doughy. So that is one thing I learned. Also, we decided if we were to cut back, because it calls for 1.5 cups of the Cadbury Mini Eggs, if we were to cut that back, it'd be even less carbs, right? And I put it in, so what they said in their deal was to put them in a Ziploc bag and use a rolling pin and beat them so that you had different shape, consistency, whatever of the Cadbury Mini Eggs. I put mine in my food processor and I got fine powder all the way to fairly large chunks. Some of them are even bigger chunks than that, but so good. I told my husband this morning, I didn't try one last night. I'm so happy that I made these, and I'm so mad too. Because wow, these are good, but dang it, they're good. So this is the keto. It has a little bit of a drier consistency, I guess you would say, but still really, really good. I'm gonna take one bite of this. This is a real one. maybe even that's too big of a bite. You can see I did the same thing with the deals in here. And I mean, these are like, I'm making a mess on my table. These have a little bit, I hate to say it, but like maybe a little bit richer taste, like a real cookie. I took my one bite and I'm passing them off to my daughter. She's gonna eat that one. I'm gonna finish my keto one. Like I said, it's a little more dry maybe, but the taste and the flavor is there. So I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna eat my cookie and I will see you next time. See you later, bye.